What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here, and wanted to do a video about gangs after SHTF, and I wanted to talk about gangs after SHTF. So, first, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy Friday, and I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as possible because I know that you guys are all busy, and I'm busy as well. We got some nice weather coming this weekend here in upstate New York. Temperatures are going to be in the 70s this weekend, so we're going to get like a little taste of summer before we go back to the colder weather that we've been having the last week or so. So I'm going to go out and enjoy the weather. I'm going to do a lot of shooting. I'm going to film some shooting videos for you guys. I'm going to try to get out there and do another penetration test with my 500 Magnum, so that'll be pretty fun. And I may try to get out and do some bear hunting as well. We'll see. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if the weather is nice, take advantage of it and enjoy your weekend, because we are heading into a La Nina winter, and we are in a solar minimum. So that means that we're going to have a cold winter. So take advantage of the weather now. Go out there and have some fun. I've done videos on gangs after SHTF in the past. If you go back to some of my videos from 2019, I did a lot of videos about gangs, and I will attach a video in the top of your screen. I will attach one of the videos that I did where I went in detail about gangs and the potential threat from gangs, and I break down the different types of gangs that I think you would run into and the problems. So, I believe that the main problem that in this video I want to talk about is larger gangs. I'm not talking about, local gangs like your local punks down the street that, throw eggs at people's houses on Halloween or, do stupid stuff like that. I'm talking about large organized gangs and drug cartels and organizations like that. Okay. I think that they're going to be a serious threat after SHTF. Okay. And I think a lot of preppers underestimate that. All right. I think a lot of preppers don't think about things like that. They focus on civil war and civil unrest and the riots and stuff like that. But if society breaks down and, there's a total collapse of society, there's going to be a lot of large organized gangs and organized criminals that are going to get together and try to seize control of territory, basically, in my opinion, and we're talking about a total collapse of society, a lot of you guys will say, well, that could never happen because the military would step in. Well, who's to say that the military would try to step in? The military's main job is to protect the national security and protect the president and protect the military infrastructure. Their job is not to do domestic security. Okay, that's the job of police and National Guard. And, the military can't be diverted from protecting the country from other countries to protect, to deal with domestic issues, because if they do that, then, we're going to be wide open to an attack from China or Russia. So I think what we could see after SHTF is we could see drug cartels and large gangs seizing control of, entire areas of the country, okay? Or cities, towns, counties, regions of the country. We could see, larger gangs that have more resources, more manpower, a large amount of weaponry. Okay, those types of gangs, in my opinion, will seize control of territory. Okay, it's not if, it's that they will. The question is how much and where. That's the more of the question. It's not about whether they will seize territory or not. All right, a lot of these organized criminals, they have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of manpower, and they're brutal, okay? They're not afraid to kill people. They're not afraid to take hostages. They're not afraid to rape and pillage and go door to door and take people's supplies. And you guys have to remember that a lot of these gangs are going to be just like regular people. They're going to need to eat and survive after a collapse of society, you know. So what the difference is a lot of regular folks, law-abiding citizens, are going to try to gather their own food or create communities to help each other and support each other. But the gangs are going to get together and use their numbers and their firepower to basically rape and pillage, like, you know, like the Vikings did, okay? They're going to use overwhelming force and manpower to seize control of areas and go door to door to take supplies that they need. All right, not only are they going to go door to door and take supplies, but they're also going to have their way with whatever they want, okay? If a group of 20 guys comes to your house and, you know, you surrender, you know, guess what? They may not only be after your food and your supplies and your ammo, all right? They may try to, you know, rape your wife, you know? That's just the reality of it, okay? So, you know, and so, you know, a lot of these gangs already have, you know, territories, you know, as we speak right now, they have their own territories and they have, you know, gang wars and stuff like that. So it's highly likely, in my opinion, that after a collapse of society, these cartels, these more organized gangs, are going to really, you know, use their strength in numbers and with firepower, you know, access to, you know, the black market weapons. You know, a lot of these gangs, like, I'll just run off some names, you know, for example, the Hells Angels or the Bloods, the Crips, you know, a lot of the drug cartels, okay? They're going to try to take advantage of the situation while the rule of law is down and there's no protection for the people. They're going to try to move in and take advantage of the situation. Like I said, they're going to seize control of territory. They may even take prisoners and use people as slaves to produce drugs for them and to work for them. Okay, you know, think of like, you know, The Walking Dead, the guy Negan, you know, the bad guy in The Walking Dead, one of the bad guys. You know, this guy Negan, he had a bunch of, you know, criminals, and he was like the head of them. He was like the leader. And what they would do is they would go town to town and look for people and basically enslave them and force them to work for him, to produce food for him and do chores. And he would have his way with all the women in the area that he, you know, conquered. Okay, so I think that's something that's a very real possibility. All right. And I also think they're going to use the lack of law and order to get revenge on other gangs and settle scores. There could be gang wars. There could be all kinds of things, you know. So you need to think about that, and you need to think about that as a potential threat, and you need to, you know, understand what kind of gangs are active in your area. You know, if you live in a big city, chances are all the big gangs are going to be there. MS-13, Bloods, Crips, you know, all those, you know, big gangs, mafia, the different mafias, Russian, Italian, you know, whatever, all the different mafias. But I also do believe not just those types of gangs, but the cartels, okay, the drug cartels in Mexico and South America, Central America. I do believe that after a collapse of society, the cartels could potentially try to come up from the south, cross over the border, and try to basically take over the United States or take over portions of the United States so they could use it for drug distribution and stuff like that, okay? I think that's a very real possibility. I think they could exert their will on the people in the area that they control. And I do believe that the cartels in Latin America could pose a real threat to us here in the United States and really any other country. I mean, if you're in Europe, you have to think about the Russian mob. If you're in Latin America, you have to think about the cartels. The cartels are so big and powerful in Central America, South America. If you live in Latin America, you need to be ready for the possibility that if society collapses, these cartels are going to take advantage of the situation to, exert their influence on an area and, steal supplies, rape and pillage, expand their territory, things like that. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that to you guys, and I'm going to attach a video that I did a while back about gangs, but that's kind of the main topic of this video is the larger gangs, the cartels, the large organized gangs, those are going to be a real threat in my opinion. And they have access to all kinds of weapons through the black market. Okay, so just because you have firearms doesn't mean that they're not going to have firearms. Okay, and even if they don't know tactics that well, just the sheer amount of manpower that they have could overwhelm you and overwhelm your group. And they may even have ex-military guys or guys that are former law enforcement that may like dirty cops or guys that were in the military that did some shady stuff. They may hire them to create these raiding squads, and or they may use them to train, if they could find a few dirty cops or a couple of unstable ex-military guys, and they may offer them some kind of deal, money or whatever, or spoils of the victory of conquest. They may offer them something and say, listen, can you train my cartel guys? Can you train my gang guys on tactics? Can you teach them how to shoot? Can you show them how to move? Things like that, or they could just straight up hire, crooked, ex-military guys that are willing to basically just fight for the highest price. If somebody pays them a lot of money and offers them something, they'll do it. They'll say, all right, if let's say one of these cartels, goes up to some disgruntled ex-Navy SEALs or something and says, listen, guys, we'll pay you a few $1 million, but we want you to go door to door and secure this whole area for us so we can take control. I'm not saying that there's a lot of guys in the military like that, but there definitely are some that would be willing to commit treason, and we've seen it in the past. Look at Timothy McVeigh, look at, the guy in Iraq that deserted his post. I forgot his name, but, the military has its share of deserters and disgruntled people, unstable people that slip through the cracks and get, really good training, and then they, they're psychotic. There's people like that in the military. If there wasn't, then the military would not have a military police to deal with these types of people. Okay, so for it's not realistic to say, oh yeah, that'll never happen because every serviceman and woman is 100% loyal to the country. That's not always the case. People join the military for different reasons. And, they may do it just because they need money or, they don't really care too much about the country, or they have other motives for joining the military and they're more easily, corrupted by money and things like that, if that time ever were to come. So it's just something for you guys to think about. Think about what you would do if there was a cartel or large gang in your neighborhood, trying to go door to door to seize control of the area, raping and pillaging. Okay, how would you handle that? Do you have a group? Do you have people that you can rely on? Do you have weaponry? Do you have, knowledge of your area so you can, so you can set up overwatch positions and set up ambushes and counterattacks. Okay, do you know your area intimately? Have you thought about places where you could set up defensive positions or areas that may be good ambush sites, for any kind of large, force like that coming through? So, and obviously having a group of guys is the best thing. If you have a group, a group of guys that are trained, and you guys train together, and you guys know, how to operate as a unit, yeah, and you guys do drills together, that's the biggest, protection mechanism against something like that. But again, even in that case, I don't think it would be an easy fight. Even if you do have a group and you guys are all trained and you guys are standardized with your tactics and you've gone through and done some wargaming scenarios, I still don't think it's going to be an easy victory against a large, cartel or a large gang that has, thousands of guys. And, the thing is a lot of these gangs, they could also recruit more people to their side. They could recruit more criminals to join them, to help them take control. And they could also offer them something. They could say, if you help us take control of this area, we'll let you rape every woman in the area. If they're trying to recruit a rapist or something like that, or, whatever. All right. So it's just something to think about, guys. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.